Marshall and Diane Benbow moved into their first home on September 11, 2001. The house, located in the neglected Glenwood neighborhood, was a fixer-upper built in 1908. As the Benbows' new house became a home, their new neighborhood became a community. Over the past 20 years, they have watched Glenwood grow and evolve into the vibrant community it is today. As their family moves away from this home, Marshall reflected on what he believes makes Glenwood awesome.
Glenwood was actually one of the first planned neighborhoods in our city. The streets here are really wide because they would have trolleys going up and down the streets, and there are a system of alleyways behind the houses where the milkmen would come and leave the milk and all that. So it's a very old neighborhood, and over time, as happens in cities, families who own the homes kind of moved out, moved away, literally died off, and the houses went vacant or they were sold to landlords, and the neighborhood fell into disrepair. And so by the time we moved in here, it was one of the highest crime sites in the city. There were multiple drug houses on our street alone, prostitutes who were walking up and down the street. I mean, I would take the trash out to the corner at our house, and I had a guy see if I needed any drugs. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just taking out my trash. And so, we just sought to learn how to be neighbor and to befriend the people around us. I grew up in Statesville, North Carolina, and sort of out in the more rural part of the city. And so moving here was kind of a culture shock for me. I was surrounded by people who didn't look like me or think like me. There was high crime all around us, and I just didn't know kind of who was going to be my friend and who might want to hurt me. It's easy to stereotype people and judge them by how they look or how they are behaving, but I got to be friends with some of these folks who were selling drugs or using drugs. I knew their names. They weren't just those people. I got to know my neighbors who have very different worldviews from me. And even though, our Facebook profiles might be super different, we had a common love for this place, this neighborhood we call Glenwood. And so I think that the more you know your neighbors, the more your neighborhood becomes home. And Glenwood's unique. I mean, people are on their front porches. They're walking the streets. There's a sense of ownership and community here that's very different than other neighborhoods I've lived in. And I think it's one of the things that makes it really special. And I think that, crime has gone down. And some of that's because neighbors are looking out for each other now. We pay attention to what's going on. We are really have each other's back, and I think that's changed some things as well, which is good for everybody, right? Even the kids here, they need to have safe places to be as well. So it's a lot different than when we moved in here.